%26. On the national report part, the percent should be below 12 greater for the subtraction in math. In America, we had everything as an exceptional country, but the 26% sounds exceptional to you? Raise your hand if you think as the country we need to do way better than that. I'm with you. We all need math, for where so many kids confused by us. It is because only 26% of people are hardwired from that, love 70% or not. After working with thousands of kids, I can tell you this is the case at all. Kids don't understand math because we've been teaching it at the humanities subject. But if we make math human again, it will start to make sense again. You're probably wondering, how is math ever human in the first place? So think about it. Math is a human language, just like English, Spanish, and Chinese, because it allows people to communicate with each other. Even in ancient time, people need the language of math to count the thread, to build a monument, and to measure the land for farming.
This idea of math the language isn't exactly new. Greek philosopher once said, the laws of nature are written in the language of mathematics. So you see, even Galileo agreed with me. But somewhere along the line, we're taking the language of math, which is about the real world around us, and we've abstracted it beyond recognition, and that's why kids are confused. Let me show you what I mean. Read this third grade California math standard and see if it will make sense to an 8 years old. Understand a fraction 1 over b as the quantity formed by one part when a whole is partitioned into equals. Understand the fraction a over b as the quantity formed by a part of size 1 over b. And if you give this discipline to an 8 years old, you probably get an reaction like this. To a math expert, this standard makes sense, but to a kid is an absolute torture. I tell this example specifically because the fractions are the fundamental to algebra, trigonometry, and even calculus. So kids don't understand fraction in elementary and middle school. They have a talk route for them in the high school.
Here's the way to make subtraction simple and easy for kids to understand. Yes, just remember that math is the language and use that fear damage. For example, when I teach first grader how to edit the subtraction, I start with the apple plus lesson. For say yes, what's 1 apples plus 1 apples, and people often say 2, which is probably correct. Help them include the word as well as math of the language, but not just 2, it's 2 apples. Next is 3 pencils plus 2 pencils. You all know that pencil plus pencils is pencils. So everyone, how many pencils? 5 pencils is right. And the key is you include the word. I tried to submit with my 5-year niece in month. After she's added pencils and pencil, I asked her, what's 4 billion plus 1 billion? And my aunt overheard this turn. She scolded me and said, are you crazy? She's been kindergarten. She is supposed to know 4 billion plus 1 billion. I'm done it. My niece finishes counting, looks up and says, 5 billion? And I say, that's right, it is 5 billion.
My aunt started on that because she did not expect that from the 5-year. But all you have to do is take a language approach and make become into it is and easy to understand. Then I asked her a question that kindergartner definitely not supposed to know. What's 1/3 plus 1/3? And immediately she answered 2/3. Such as you are wondering, how can she possibly know that when she does know about the numerator and denominator? You see, she wasn't thinking about numerator and denominator. She solved the problem this way, and she used 1 apple plus 1/4 is her analogy. To understand, 1/3 plus 1/3. So even a kindergartner can add subtraction. You'd better believe that every third grader can do it as well. Just for fun, I asked her an algebra question. What's 7x squared plus 2x squared? And then the 5-year correctly answered 9x squared. And she did it any exponent lost to figure that out. So when the people say that we are either wise or not, it's not true. Math is human language, so we all the ability to understand this.
We need to take a long approach to math urgent because too many kids are in the Asian about math, and that doesn't have to be. I work with a frustrated high school student on couldn't pass the because she only knew 44% of the multiplication text. I told her that kind of word only the 44 to the alphabet. It holding me back. She couldn't factor or public relations, and she had no confidence in it. As a result, this teenager had confidence herself. I told her, we have to start the multiplication because once they know all you part, everything gets easier, and they will be having flashback to every ride in Disneyland. What do you think? And she said, okay. So she systematically learned the time for, and yes, even a multiplication has language. You'll be surprised how many kids don't realize 7 times 3 can be spelled out as 7 times 3, which just means 3 7 times, just like this. So when kids see this way, quickly realize that the repetition is slow inconvenient.
So they gladly memorize that 3, 7 times always give you 21. So for this teenager who was at risk of dropping out, becoming fluent and confident in multiplication was because for the first time, she could focus on problem solving instead of counting of her fingers. I knew she had turned the corner when she figured out that a 2-year car lease at $445 amount $10,680. And she looked at me disapprovingly and sighed, Mr. Fallacy is expensive. At that moment, math was no longer causing problems for her, but she was using math to solve problems as a responsible adult would. As an educator, it's my duty to challenge kids to reach higher, so I leave you with this challenge. Our country is stuck at 26% proficient, and I challenge you to push that number higher. This is important because mathematical thinking not only builds young mind, but our kids need it to imagine and build a future that doesn't yet exist. Needing this challenge can be as simple as apples plus apples. Insist that we teach math as human language, and we will get results rather than later. Thank you.